Hello, educators. This is Carrie. I'm with the Mount Airy Branch Library of Carroll County Public Library, and welcome to Teacher Resources to Go. This is another edition of Teacher Resources to Go to hopefully help you with lesson planning for your schooling this fall. This applies to parents who may be homeschooling this year, teachers who are working in classrooms, teachers who are working distanced and virtually with classrooms or small groups of children as well. So really, these resources can be applied in various different settings for the education of our children. So, of course, the library has a lot of resources of our own, and we'll be exploring the Carroll County Public Library webpage at www.library.car.org. That's carr.org. We'll also be going over some of our digital resources that we have through the library that you and your students can access for free just with your Carroll County Public Library library card. So we'll be looking at Canopy today, which is a newer digital service that we have with Carroll County Public Libraries, and Hoopla, which is kind of an older standard as well. We'll be also looking at some really great resources that you may not know about that are available online. They all fall within fair use for you to use with your classrooms, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll be going over all these resources as we talk, and at the end of the program, I'll show you this page again. So we have Reading is Fundamental. The publisher Penguin has a middle school YouTube page. Harper Collins has a Storytime and Interactive Videos page. And as always, I like to show you some author pages with some authors and illustrators, book creators for kids that really have fantastic resources on their personal author pages as well. So today I'm going to be talking some about using videos for schooling. So a lot of times, of course, we always focus on physical books and literature, and we certainly encourage you, even though the library is still physically closed to everyone, we're encouraging you to use our express service pickup. And that is where you place physical books on hold that we have at the library. And basically, it's just like ordering takeout for Chipotle. We put your materials in a bag, they're already checked out to you. You set up a pickup time, you come in one at a time and pick up your materials, and you can go on your way. And you certainly can use those book resources that we have in addition to your school resources for your education pursuits this fall. So we encourage you to do that. But today I'll be talking a little bit more about using videos. So either doing it in home, using videos for schooling, or using videos virtually as well. So these are videos that are hopefully going to save you a little bit of time and planning. And as always, I know in the last teacher resources, we went over a little bit in more depth about copyright law. I know publishers are a little bit more lenient right now during the pandemic. Penguin put out a statement through the end of the year loosening their fair use policies, but you can always get more information at copyright.gov, or the Library of Congress also has information as well. And again, we'll be sharing these resources at the end of the program also. All right, so here we are at Carroll County Public Library's homepage. Again, the web address is just library.carr.org. And there is information, like I said, I was mentioning Express Pickout up. If you have any questions, you can just look here at the top of the page, and you can stay tuned there for any changes in our services. But down here under collections, we're just going to look under digital collections with ebooks and digital content. And we've gone over this some in other teacher resource sessions with Overdrive and Libby. And the second one down here that I'm going to show you today is Canopy. So Canopy is a video streaming service that has entertainment for all ages. There are movies, documentaries, all sorts of things. You can use this on your TV, your phone, your tablet, anywhere that you can access it online. You can use Canopy. This will be a really great resource, especially for those homeschooling families. Canopy Kids is wonderful, not just because of the quality of the programming that they have, but also Canopy Kids has no limit on the number of videos that you can view per month. Our other services, as you know, with ebooks and magazines and all of those sorts of things, they work kind of like checking out a normal book. There are limits on how many that you can do at one time, and you basically check them out each for 3 weeks at a time. With Canopy, this isn't the case. It's on-demand streaming service, and it's all free. So here I'm already logged into my personal Canopy Kids. If you don't already have an account, you just need your library card number. And it's super easy to set up. And it's basically like our other digital resources. You just set up your username, your password, and you get in that way. And if you ever forget your password or have trouble getting in, they have an easy kind of email solution on their end of things. But this is Canopy Kids. And like I said, it's a really fantastic resource. It has a lot of really quality programming. It does skew to the younger side. There is a regular Canopy that you can always look at documentaries, kind of like nature, planet type shows, and things like that. And they're really good resources. But today I'm just going to focus on Canopy Kids because there are a lot of really great things to look at here. You may recognize here we have Don't Let Pigeon Drive the Bus and Creepy Carrots and You Are Not Small. These are all videos you may have seen in DVD format at the library. We check these out a lot. They're done by a company called Weston Woods, and they're basically storybooks that are animated, brought to life. So really high quality programming here. And it's a great resource if you don't have the physical book with you. Maybe you're on hold for it at the library but can't get it, but really want to use a particular book with your students or your children, and you can use the video alternative as well. I don't always encourage screen time, but we know in this virtual age, and especially right now with so much virtual teaching, it's great to find really high quality videos that you can actually use for educational purposes. So there are a whole bunch of videos here. There's PBS programming, which is very high quality. The first thing I'll show you here on Canopy, down a little bit farther, is a language section. So if you're doing any language learning with your children, here we go. Canopy Kids has Muzzy, which has been a long trusted, really popular with our customers program for language learning. They have Little Pim that skews a little bit younger, and they have others as well. But those programs are really fantastic and thorough and cover a lot of different languages, as you can see. I'll quickly show you the first on the list with the Muzzy Spanish. And it's not just one video here. This is actually the whole series of videos. So if you're familiar with Muzzy at all, maybe you went through Muzzy's lessons, language lessons as a kid. You know, it used to come in like this huge kit with all these VHS or DVDs and CDs, and now everything's digital, and you can access it all here. One of the really great things about Canopy that I also like is because it's streaming on demand, you don't have to wait. There's no limit to how many of our customers can watch this one video at a time. All you need to do is each log in to your own Canopy account, which again is free with your library card. So if you are doing this with a group of students and you want to use some of these Canopy resources, it's not like some of the other online just kind of open fair use videos that I'll be showing you later. You couldn't do, say, for example, a virtual online lesson and then share your screen to show everybody at the same time the same Muzzy video that you're viewing on your screen. You would need to have them set up a Canopy account on their own, which again is free with a library card. If your students don't have a library card with Carroll County Public Library, even though the library is closed right now, you can go to our website and get a temporary card. And it's all free. Then you really easily, it's just a couple of steps that you need to take. But we do with the library staff, with the library in general, we do a lot of viewing programs and viewing parties with Canopy for adult shows and kid shows. So hypothetically, if you're teaching a larger group of students all at once virtually, you could, have a couple of extension activities for kids to do on their own time where they log into Canopy. They get a Canopy account with their library card and they log in and view one of the shows that you're all viewing as a class and kind of have a viewing party, which is a lot of fun. So one of the videos that I really like that is great that we like to use as educators a lot is Why Mosquitos Buzz in People's Ears. And this is one I wanted to show you some of these examples of videos that you can use with your students and your children that have a lot of extension activities online that are free and accessible and fall within fair use. So here again, there is closed captioning that you can do. They have more information about each show. And then you basically just hit play and it'll start playing on your device. So there is Why Mosquitos Buzz. And one of the places I found extension activities for Why Mosquitos Buzz is rif.org. And this is on our resource list. But this is an organization, they're nationwide. Reading is fundamental. They are a nonprofit organization that promotes literacy. And they have tons of resources on their website that are all free and accessible. I'm going to take you down here. Let's see. To where they have some resources. This Literacy Central. As you can see, it's an online destination for teachers, parents, and literacy volunteers to get thousands of free digital resources tied directly to the books children love and teachers turn to every day. So Why Mosquitos Buzz in People's Ears is kind of a classic book that we use in classrooms a lot. So it's nice to have the option, if you don't have the physical book, to have that video. And then they have a section here on their Literacy Central. There's a place for parents, a place for educators. And I'm just going to go to the educator section. And again, they have a lot of things to explore on their website, but for now I'm going to go to Book Resources for the Classroom. And you can either browse through their books. You can see they have just tons and tons. So they'll have lesson plans, they have puzzles that they've set up. And the puzzles, you can actually make your own puzzles on the Reading is Fundamental website. So if you're doing a word search or a crossword puzzle that's tied into one of the books that you're reading, you can create your own. But if you don't have time to do that, you can always look up the resources that they already have ready to go. So Why Mosquitos Buzz in People's Ears is right here. So you can see they have leveled reading passages, they have a crisscross, they have a word search. I'll pull up this easy word search so you can just kind of see what it looks like. You can launch it in Reading is Fundamental's website and do it online. So you can certainly send out just a link to this for children to participate in. But they also have the option for the PDF format. So you can just send this out, in an email or put it into your assignment list for students as well as a follow-up. And it has the key, which is always helpful if you're not the one who created it. So that is just an example of why mosquitoes buzz in people's ears. There's another one that I will show you that I really love that is easy to find some extension activities to go along with. But a sick day for Amos Mcgee. It's by Aaron and Philip Stead. This is another one. You can just stream it. And it has closed captioning, done by Weston Woods. It's just a fantastic story that you can share with your kids and your students. And as I've mentioned in other teacher resources programs, a great place to check for resources on extension activities is directly with the publishers of the books that you're using. So if you already have a book that's in your curriculum that you want to do a quick search, you can always look up the publisher information as well. And you'll know if information is coming directly from the publisher or directly from the author or illustrator. It is most likely going to adhere to those copyright laws and fair use laws because they are trying to promote the book and trying to show you some materials to use along with the books in your classroom. There are sites out there where you can either pay to be members, or I know a lot of teachers use, generally speaking, when there are book tie-ins with those types of websites where teachers are creating materials and selling them online, they generally are copyright violations. So I would certainly steer clear of those. But if you ever have any questions, definitely contact the publisher of the book that you're trying to use just to get clarification. So on Macmillan's website, they have author information about Philip Stead and Aaron Stead, who create many books together. But this particular video that they have is about the process. It's about the process of illustrating A Sick Day for Amos Mcgee. So it would be a great preview to send your students to preview this video that kind of goes inside the Stead studio and how the story came together artistically, and then have everybody have a viewing party on Canopy. So that would be a fantastic option as well. So another resource that we have through Carroll County that is free is Hoopla. Again, I've highlighted this in some of our other teacher resources videos. You go to the same place on the Carroll County website under digital collections, and it's basically the same thing. You get free access with your library card number. But if there are videos that you're looking for that you can't find on Canopy, Hoopla is a resource for ebooks, audiobooks, and they do actually have some videos, and they have some of these Weston Woods videos too. So I'm just going to pull up Mo Willems. If you don't know Mo Willems, he is a prolific children's book writer. I highly encourage you to check him out. He's like the modern day Dr. Seuss. He has tons of Geisel Awards under his belt, which was named after Dr. Seuss. He tries to highlight books and works by newer authors and illustrators as well. And as you can see, he has so many books. There are a lot of audio versions that you can use with your students, but today we're highlighting the videos, the movie versions. So again, if you know Mo Willems, you know Pigeon. So this Hoopla works a little bit more, like I was saying, the same way that you would borrow a book from the library. You get it for 3 weeks unless you turn it in sooner. And you have more of a limited number of books that you can do at one time. Right now, you can borrow up to 12 items at a time through Hoopla, and you would just go to borrow. And you can see the information here. If there are only so many copies and those copies are being borrowed, you may have to wait on a hold list, but usually it doesn't take very long. But that's another option for that. So just to piggyback off of this example with Mo Willems, especially if you have younger kids. Mo Willems, because he's so prolific, has a fantastic webpage called pigeonpresents.com where there are just tons and tons of resources. So I'll kind of do a quick viewing on here. You can see his books and pals. Get Busy is a section that has extension activities. So these are materials that Mo Willems and or his publisher has created. There are author studies. There are activity kits. They're all just fantastic. And there are a bunch of them to go along with the various books that you might be reading with your classroom. So again, super just easy, available. Just takes a moment to download. Some of these come in PDF format like this one with Elephant and Piggy and Pigeon. And then you're able to have some guidance for going over activities with your students. A lot of these, as I've highlighted before, also will tell you which Common Core curriculum that they align with. So you can always send these out to your students or use them for your own purposes in making lesson plans. Mo Willems also, in addition to his website with the activity kits, he does have videos available that you can share with your students. And again, these all fall within fair use if you're sharing them briefly. It's kind of nice if you don't have time to read a story to your students. It's nice to have the author read it to the students. And I will also kind of highlight this down here. Mo Willems, the Kennedy Center's first education artist in residence. This is just this year that he is the artist in residence this year at the Kennedy Center. And as part of that project, when the pandemic started and schools shut down this past March, he did a project and he has a YouTube channel, which is Lunch Doodles with Mo Willems. And it was hugely popular. If you haven't checked it out already, you can go and check it out. There are, gosh, I think close to 20 episodes now. But basically, you get a view inside his studio. He talks to kids directly and does an activity, shows them how to draw some of his characters. Just really highly entertaining, really for all ages. But of course, those first, second, third graders are loving this too. The great thing about Mo Willems, he's great for reluctant readers too, because his books are just so incredibly hilarious. Even the big kids don't find his books too babyish, generally speaking. So they're just really fun to share with kids. All right. So moving on to slightly older kids, like I said, publishers are really great resources. So I encourage you to check out publisher sites. This particular publisher site is Penguin. It's provided by Penguin. It's Penguin Middle School. It's a YouTube channel. And again, even for older kids, you can find activities. They have a great series with Kate the chemist that does science experiments. They have this great series, Read, Write, Draw. It highlights an individual book. It interviews the authors and illustrators of those books, and then also does an activity with them as well. So just tons of really great resources here for older kids as well. These are videos you can just share the link on your assignment with your students. Another great resource is Harper Collins Publisher. And again, I have these web addresses listed in the resource page, so you can always refer back to that. I'll be showing that again at the end of the program. But for Harper Collins, I'll show you here. They have story times with authors and illustrators. They have book previews. They have some items for older kids, slightly older kids, like elementary age. Here's a preview for The One and Only Bob by Catherine Applegate. It's a follow-up to The One and Only Ivan, which is always a really fun classroom read. And I know The One and Only Ivan movie is coming out soon, so I know it's gaining some more interest. One that I'll look at here, because the author really has some really great resources to tie in, is the story time with Kevin Henkes. So again, these videos are available. They're put out by the publisher to promote the books. This does include Kevin Henkes reading books in their entirety to kids. This one's a little bit longer, but he goes through several books, several different books of his. He's another prolific author that has Caldecott medals and honors. The first book that he highlights on this video is Elephants on Parade, which would be a great lesson for prepositions. The next one is his book Egg, which is great for storytelling through pictures. And then he goes over Kitten's First Full Moon and Owen. You might be familiar with some of his older books as well, like Lily's Purple Plastic Purse and Chrysanthemum, which is just fantastic. But this is a really nice video that shows kids an author illustrator. It's the next best thing. So this is a really great option. Again, if you're not able to get a book or you're having trouble figuring out how to record or share a book live with your students for a story time, you can certainly find videos like this one with Kevin Henkes reading books in their entirety online that fall within fair use that you're welcome to share with your students. Again, with Kevin Henkes, he has a really fantastic website of his own, just like Mo Willems, that has a lot of really great resources for parents and teachers. So this is his website, kevinhenkes.com. And under the section for teachers, librarians, and parents, he really lays it out simply for you. There are all of these downloadable activities. You can see the book that he was just reading, A Parade of Elephants. There's a coloring sheet and a counting activity to go along with it. He has many of his books have activities to go along with them. And then he also has some teacher resources here. So this is Common Core Online, Kevin Henkes author study. We have this here. It's a 10-page document that goes over some of his books, some information about him as an author. This would be great to do reading and kind of prep your students before sharing the video with them. And then there are activities after. And like a lot of these reading guides, they have these Common Core standard tie-ins. So it shows you exactly what the activity is tying in with as far as Common Core if you're a public school teacher and following along with that. So just a really fantastic resource. And if you're not super sure about which book or which author you want to share with your students or your children, another great resource, especially for picture books for younger kids, is PBS. Again, they're a reliable resource, but they have this wonderful website that has PBS Kids read-alongs. So again, this is the authors and illustrators themselves, sometimes some instances celebrities. I know the former president and first lady, Barack and Michelle Obama, have one on here reading to students. But you can go through, and what's really nice is right underneath a lot of these, they will have crafts and activities that are also on the PBS site for further extension activities. So we have Tad Hill, who does the Rocket books, Mary Had a Little Glam, Christian Robinson, all of these fantastic authors that are sharing their books, and they're reading the whole book on the video. So if you don't have time to do that live with your students, or you don't have the capability to do that, or you're concerned about copyright violation or sharing certain videos, these are all free again and accessible. Now, I think I've highlighted Christian Robinson every single teacher resources I've done because he is by far one of my very favorite children's book creators. But I'm going to show him again just because he has such great resources. So again, this is just a YouTube channel of Christian reading. So this book in particular, Last Stop on Market Street, got the Newbery Medal, it got a Caldecott honor, it got Coretta Scott King honor. So just a fantastic book. So again, there are going to be a lot of resources online. Scholastic has a website. It's Judy Newman at scholastic.com. She's an educator and she works for Scholastic, and she has some lesson plans on her website, and this one is in regards to Last Stop on Market Street. Their activities, she shows you what she's done with her students in the past. It's a lot of fun. I know with my daughter's school, she did a diorama with this particular book, and then their lessons that go along with that. Again, free and available for you to use. Again, like always, I always highlight Making Space with Christian Robinson, which is his YouTube channel, which he started at the beginning of this pandemic so that he speaks directly to children. He doesn't read the books in their entirety on this website. So you would either need to do that with your students, or like this example with PBS Kids, the read along has him reading the book in its entirety, and then there's an activity to go along. So this one is gratitude. So again, there are just some really great follow-up activities that you're able to do with some of these videos that you'd be sharing. So let me go back to our resource page here. So there are a lot of really fantastic resources that you can find online that still fall within fair use to use with your students, and really to help you save a little bit of time with trying to come up with ideas for activities to do with your students, because I know you're all time crunched. But if you have any questions, you can always send them to me. The next teacher resources will be in 2 weeks on the 29th of August, and I'll be covering some video resources and some online resources in addition to Carroll County Public Library resources for some older students as well. So I know some of the websites that we cover today are a little bit more adaptable for homeschooling families and schooling smaller groups of children and younger groups of children, but we'll get to some older kids next week as well. If there's anything ever that you want to cover in these teacher resources, just send some information in the comments or give us a call at the Mount Airy Branch Library. And if you ever have any questions, definitely call your local library branch because we are there and available to answer questions and help you pick out books for your students. So thank you for joining me today again with Teacher Resources to Go, and I hope you have great luck and fun with your lesson planning.